If you are someone who wants to get better at emotional self-care, how can you actually know what you're feeling so that you can respond wisely? This is such a great question. This question came to me in response to a video that I recently shared on caring for our emotions. And it's an important question. How do I know what I'm feeling? So I wanted to use this video to go into a deeper dive into becoming skilled at discerning emotions and at emotional care. The reality is most of us are unskilled at discerning our emotional state. And there's a lot of factors that play into this. One is just culturally, there are some emotions that are more accepted than others. There's kind of a cultural belief that just carry on, just keep going, that you should be okay, you should always be happy, you should always be cheerful. Many of us never learned to tolerate certain emotions, right? We never had somebody that could sit with us and regulate when we felt difficult things. That's a skill you have to build. You build in childhood with an adult who's built those skills as well. If you didn't have those experiences, it makes sense that it can be challenging for you to experience, recognize, and discern certain emotions. So if this resonates with you, there's no shame, right? You are in the boat with so many of us together, and it is a skill that you can build. So let's dive in. So I want to offer you 3 things that you can try as you begin to build your skill of discerning what you are feeling, discerning your emotions. The first one is to befriend your triggers, right? Beginning to notice and befriend your triggers that signal something's going on for you. This could be things like excessive snacking when you're not hungry. For me, this one shows up a lot, right? I have a cupboard that where we keep our crackers, and when I'm going there a lot, that's a signal, right? I'm working and I go and I grab a handful and I go back and grab another handful, right? After a few times, that's a signal that something's going on for me, right? It could be going to a certain comfort food, right? If I notice myself eating a lot of ice cream, I know my system is agitated. Could be withdrawal, right? Any number of avoidant type behaviors. It could be anger. A lot of the times, anger is sort of a surface emotion that's signaling something deeper, right? Or just noticing a lot of agitation or being easily annoyed, a lot of irritation, right? Any of those can be signals, right? Triggers, something, a behavior that signals that something deeper is going on. And this is really important. You have to befriend the trigger. If you've not befriended it, you'll continue to resist it, or you'll get stuck on the behavior itself. Because here's the thing, this is important to know. The behavior is not the problem. The behavior, like emotional eating, like going to that cracker cupboard or to the ice cream, the behavior is not the problem. The behavior is a signal that something deeper is going on, right? So if you can befriend the trigger and notice it, then you can begin to get curious about what's really going on for you. When we over-focus on the behavior, we lose the plot, right? We get focused on, well, the issue is that I keep eating too many crackers and I keep eating too much ice cream, right? That I keep doing this, right? When really it's simply a signal that something deeper is going on. So you lose the plot. So noticing the trigger as a signal gives you an opportunity to pay attention, right? What is the behavior signaling for me? When you notice the trigger as a behavior, see it as a clue that you need some self-care. At the end of the day, that's what this is all about. It's coming back into care and connection with yourself. So we're befriending those triggers, befriending those behaviors so that we can get curious and come back into care and connection. Okay, so now that we've befriended those trigger behaviors, we can begin to get curious, right? What am I noticing? There are 2 key things you can tune into here. Beginning to tune into sensation. This is a really powerful tool to come back into the present moment. Tuning into sensation. Where is there tension in my body? What's my posture right now? How's my breathing? Is it shallow or is it relaxed? Is my body fidgety or is it still, right? You're just noticing what's happening in my body. What's my heart rate doing, right? Tuning into your body. The second thing you're going to tune into are your thoughts. Are my thoughts racing, right? Am I thinking, or are they calm? What is the dominant subject matter of my thoughts, right? Am I ruminating about this thing that just happened or this thing that I'm looking forward to or anticipating, right? What is the dominant content or conflict or a relationship, right? Just beginning to notice what is happening in your thought track. What is the dominant content? What are the energy of my thoughts? Are they agitated and activated? Is there some anxiety in there? Am I consumed by my thoughts or am I present to my surroundings? right? If we've all been in those situations where we're sort of so in our heads that someone's talking to us, and we're like, uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. And then we're like, wait, what did you say? Right? Am I present to my situation? Am I engaged, or am I sort of collapsed in my thoughts, right? Just noticing those two things. What are my sensations? What's happening in my body? What's going on in my thoughts? Okay. And this is really critical. We're not judging any of these as right or wrong. If your breathing is shallow, it's fine. If it's relaxed, that's fine. If your thoughts are racing, that's fine. If they're calm, it's fine. So here's a mantra that you can try. I'm noticing that a part of me is fidgety. That's so helpful to be aware of that. I offer it my grace and compassion. It is so helpful to be aware of that. I offer it my grace and compassion. Whatever it is that you're noticing, right? Just to begin to allow it to be. And as you offer it that compassion and that acceptance, that in itself will help it begin to relax, right? It's beginning to come back into connection with you. And that's the key. Where at the end of the day, we're promoting connection to self. Okay, now that we've befriended our triggers and begun to get curious of what's happening underneath, what's going on below the behavior, we can start to invite some awareness of any surface emotions. Sometimes those surface emotions are easier to discern, right? Things like anger, sadness, anxiety, hurt, or embarrassment, right? Those are kind of high level. There's a lot of granularity. You can get more specific that may be harder to discern. So just starting with those top emotions. And then once you've identified that, you can get more specific. And if you go onto the internet and just Google like emotions chart, you will find a ton of examples that you can use just to begin to get familiar with all the emotions out there. But this is really important. This is so important. I want you to hold the label of the emotion loosely, right? Hold it loosely. Your experience of the situation is way more important than the label. So if the label helps you to understand what's going on, that's fine and use it, but just hold it loosely and really attune, more importantly, attune to you, right? That's the key. That's what's most important. And the fourth step is to begin to listen to the needs, right? More important than the label is learning to discern what the emotion is actually telling you, right? All emotions are messengers. So simply tuning in and listening to its message is way more important than giving it a label. Okay. So you may consider, right, as you listen, do I need rest? Do I need a boundary? Do I need to have a difficult conversation with someone? Do I need to say no? Do I simply need some love and care? Or maybe I need some connection. I just begin to notice and listen. And this is really a fun thing to play with because you can actually have this dialogue inside with yourself. You can ask the emotion, what message do you have for me? And as you ask it, just try as much as you can not to think of the answer, but to allow it to surface, right? What do you notice surfacing as you ask that question? What are you telling me? What's your message? What do you need from me? This emotion that's surfacing, what does this emotion need from me? Okay, so to pull this all together, more important than knowing the exact emotion that you're feeling is learning to tune into your current experience, right? What am I sensing? What am I feeling? What's happening in my thoughts? Tuning into your current experience, discerning what needs are surfacing from any behaviors or triggers, and then making a commitment to yourself to consistently meet those needs. That is the key here, right? Use labels and emotion charts when helpful, but hold the label loosely. At the end of the day, it's about attuning to what's happening and caring for those needs, caring for what's surfacing. I hope this was helpful. I hope this explained and gave a little bit of clarity. Please write any other comments in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. I'd love to hear what emotions, what you notice, what sensations happen in your body when you can tell that you're agitated. What are some of your trigger behaviors? Beginning to bring awareness to those things. It's helpful to know those things and to even just share them together and to know that we are not alone. We all have them. One of mine, as you know already, is that cracker cupboard, right? That's my trigger. So comment below, what's one of your triggers? What are one of the signals that you have learned to attune to know that something is happening for you, that you need a little bit of care? Don't forget to click subscribe for more videos on how to build a life of health and well-being centered in self-trust and self-care. And you can also go to nourishwhoyouare.com. There's a link in the video description. You can sign up for a free coaching consultation. A lot of this awareness is the first step, but coaching can really help take it to the next level of behavior change. So if you're interested in learning what that would look like and what that's all about, go to Nourish Who You Are and sign up for a free coaching consultation. Well, hopefully I will see you there, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.